Okay, so I've decided to do my presentation this month on PR campaigns. Obviously, we work with a lot of small businesses and marketing professionals. I basically kind of thought about how like PR campaigns can be made really simple and affordable. And here's some ideas. So off we go. So what is a PR campaign? I know most people think they know what a PR campaign is. If you've already done some, then you do know. If you're sat at the back with your head down, you probably don't know. So a PR campaign, like the definition of that is basically a strategic, deliberate effort to manage and improve the public image of your brand, your business, an individual, like the thing you are selling. Um, so it's not really about sales. It's more about getting people to remember who you are, what you stand for, what your brand means, remembering your logo, that kind of thing. And like the main objective really is to just get loads of nice positive media coverage, get your brand, your ideas in front of as many eyeballs as possible. Some of those will turn into customers and sales, but it's more about making people aware of who you are, not necessarily about selling people things. Some really quick examples of some famous PR campaigns as the John Lewis Christmas advert. Obviously, it's John Lewis. There is a capitalist thread running through that. But really, what we used to look forward to is like what song they'd chosen, what the theme was, what the special star was going to be. But it has made John Lewis like absolutely equivalent with Christmas magic. You think Christmas magic, you think going to John Lewis. The Cadbury's Gorilla campaign, if you remember that one, it was a guy in a gorilla suit doing the drums to Phil Collins. Do 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 do. It's yeah, you can't not think about it once it's in your head, and I love that it pops up every so often on social. Nothing about chocolate. And the Guinness Surfer campaign, you know, it's a man on a surfboard in the sea, surrounded by white horses. There was no beer really in it until the end, but it was really, really powerful. And like, you know, that advert came out. I mean, so talking adverts, we are talking PR campaigns in general. That advert came out, I think, 1999, and I can still remember like most of the words to that. It was really, really powerful stuff. We don't have those sorts of budgets, unfortunately. Hence, this is the topic of the talk today. So, why might we want to run a PR campaign? So, I've kind of given a little bit of information about that. But like number one is building brand awareness. It's busy out there. Everybody's got like a TikTok shop. Everybody's got a website. Everybody's got something they're trying to sell you. So, how do you build brand awareness? Well, you have a PR campaign. You also want to be a business that like people trust, that is considered credible. If you sell toasters, you want to be known as the person that you definitely go to buy toasters. We don't go to the other place to buy toasters because they sell knockoff toasters. You want your name to be instantly recognizable within your audience. Unfortunately, crisis PR management is a thing. It's quite exciting. I've done a little bit in my past. Only small beans, but it's really important to make sure that you know what you would do if the worst thing was to happen. Launching a product or service, it could be a new restaurant, it could be a new product, it could be a new pair of shoes, whatever it is. What you're looking to do is get people to get excited about it, get some buzz around it, and then obviously buy the thing. And reputation management. So you want people to think a certain way about your brand. You want people to think a certain way about your products. So you need to manage that reputation, and you do that by sharing stories and sharing reviews and asking people to talk about you and things like that. So it's really, really broad. PR is super, super broad, which is why it seems like quite big and expensive and scary. And it's not that bad, I promise. So we want to actually create a PR campaign. So we've got a few steps to go through to make sure that we're going to hit all of our objectives, essentially. So the first thing is to define your goals. It's no good having a goal that is like increase brand awareness, because that's big, it's vague, like it doesn't mean anything. how do you measure that? Like it's not really anything. So you need to be more specific. I used Smart here. I know that we use Smart within Strategy Plus as well. But you need to make sure that like your goals are something that is achievable and you can measure and is relevant to like what you're doing, and you have the time and the resources to do it. So instead of going for increased brand awareness, you should aim for gain 10 media mentions in a certain industry publication, like within a time frame, within 6 months, within 12 months. Research your audience. There is no point trying to like tell people about your brand or your business if they're not interested in what you do. If you make model trains, like why would you try and talk to people that enjoy sailing? Like it doesn't make any sense. So you need to research your audience. You need to work out who they are, what they are, where do they hang out, what do they get annoyed about, what's the problem they're trying to solve, what are they desperate to know, and you're going to be tailoring your messages to those people because they're the people that matter. And then you need to create your key messages. Excuse me, wetting my whistle. You need to create your key messages. So they need to be aligned with your values and they need to resonate with the people that you are talking to, your target audience. It's like the most important aspect of your brand, really. The message really needs to reflect like what you want, they need to reflect what you want and what, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. They need to reflect what you want your audience to remember. There we are, and should be consistent across all of your platforms. And then choose your tactics. That goes back to kind of researching your audience. Where are these people hanging out digitally? Where are these people hanging out analogically? If that's a word. Like, is your PR campaign going to be better suited to posters on buildings rather than Facebook ads? Where are the people hanging out? You know, work out what kind of stuff that you can afford and then tailor accordingly. Makes sense. Sorry, getting a bit tongue-tied there. And then execute the campaign. So you need to do it. So you need to make sure that everything is ready, your actions align, and that everything's got your constant messaging, and then you need to release it out into the world. And then you need to just evaluate that. So it's out there. Don't just leave it to run for 6 months and then see what happens. Like, you need to go and constantly look what's working, what's not working, what can I tweak? Can I do some more research? You know, jump on Reddit, find out whether people are, you know, there. Find out if there's like a local Facebook group. Like, you can constantly be adding to your PR campaign, but maintaining the same messaging goals. You're just trying new things. That's fine. So let me move on. So we've got some budget-friendly strategies here. You can buy access to some incredible PR CRMs and platforms. They cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And if you are a small business, if you are a freelance marketer, if you are, you know, running a small team where your marketing person is also your PR person, your HR person, and, you know, everything else, then you do not have that sort of money. So some nice ways of kind of getting around that and still trying to get like a lot of bang for your buck. Social media, it's right there. It's free. I know that we have to pay to play, but it is right there. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you've got easy access to people who are interested in what it is that you're doing, have thoughts and opinions on it, are probably looking for new people or ways or businesses to do the thing that they like. And it's a really easy way to like create some buzz, and you can just throw stuff out there. It's, you know, you don't have to pay to do that. Developing strong relationships with journalists, like this will come up quite a few times throughout like the presentation. Journalists get so much in their inbox every single day, and they need something that is going to be personalized to them. Like, this is Jane Smith. She talks about kitchen renovations. Make sure that what you're sending her is relevant to kitchen renovations. Like, don't send us something about a new car. She doesn't care. She won't look at it. You know, introduce yourself. Like, actually, like, treat them as a person. The amount of times I've had to like speak to people about this, like, you know, the person at the end of that email is a person. Introduce yourself, say hello, ask them if they're local, like maybe they'd like to meet for coffee and learn more about like what you do. Journalists love a free coffee. So, you know, get get that networking in, but like don't just try and use them as a means to an end either. Guest blog and articles, really great way of getting your name out there as well. If you've got access to some publications, get in touch with the editor, find out if they'll let you write something, find out if they'll let you write a blog. You'll probably have to negotiate a little bit on how that blog comes across, but as long as you've got a link to who you are, then you're golden. Utilize your influencers. I know there's probably a little bit of eye rolling. I used to be a micro food blogging influencer back in the day. We're really affordable because we'll just do stuff for free. You've got your big bloggers, and your Instagram influencers, they are looking for thousands of pounds for one post, and they'll take it down in like 24 hours. People like me, you just give me a free meal and I'll post all about it for weeks. So, find out who they are, get to know them, say hello, introduce yourself, take them for coffee. And then create that shareable content. Like, it's all very well creating content, but if you're not making it shareable, if you're not making it interesting, if people aren't looking at it and going, oh, my friend would like that, then you're kind of wasting your time. If you're not sure if your stuff's shareable, then ask people in the industry, ask friends that are do the same things that your business do. Send them some stuff and say, if you saw that on Facebook, would you click on it? People like to help. So, and then try different things as well. But yeah, infographics, downloadable reports, anything like that, people really like it. How-to videos, love them. So there's loads of resources that you can use. So what it might be is you are trying to draw attention to you're a travel business, for example. In fact, I have a good example. We were working for a travel business, and the Summer Olympics in Paris was happening, and I wanted to work out how much it would cost to travel to the Olympics from the 4 major capitals in the UK by train, air, boat, and car. It was a lot of data, but it's really easy to find the data for that. It's free all over the place. Government websites, the National Statistics, NHS, Department of Transport, DfT, they've all got free reports, they've all got data. It's all really highly searchable as well. If you're trying to work out how many people bought red cars in 2007 compared to today, you can probably find that data or something that's very similar. They're also super helpful. So they've always got a contact that you can use. But if you're looking for something specific, email them, ask them. They'll be able to point you in the right direction. They're a lot like librarians, like they do know everything and they don't mind sharing. Professional governing bodies, I've been working with a lot of those recently, and a lot of them have data and reports that can help back up like what it is that you're doing for your campaign. Again, get in touch. If you can't find the thing that you're looking for, get in touch. They will help you. And if you also mention that they will be mentioned, or if you can ask them for a quote, that makes them even more inclined to help you. Google Trends. I don't think we use Google Trends enough, really. But it's a great way of seeing what's going on the internet. What are people searching for? If your press release is around, let's go back to the kitchen thing again. If how many people have tiled kitchens compared to brick kitchens? Google Trends is a really good way of kind of seeing when brick kitchens got more popular. And then you can run the data alongside each other. You can download the graphs. It's just all there for the taking. Met Office is great for that kind of thing. And then PSOS Mori is a massive polling company. And they've got loads of stuff on public opinion, social issues, fiscal issues. Just go in and find it. Again, the reports are everywhere. And if you can't find it, message them. They might get back to you. But yeah, great way of finding data, facts, figures that's going to back up whatever it is that you're saying in your press campaign. And then distribution lists and contact details is really difficult. This is where things start costing money. If you've created your beautiful press release, for example, you want to get it out there, and then you're finding that actually it's a very expensive way to do things. So you have a few choices. So PR Log, it does it like a website from 2002, very nostalgic for those of us who are nearly and over 40. But it's got global reach, so you can definitely throw a press release on there. If it has more of a sort of general feel to it, if it's like a very specific location story, you're probably not going to get much there. But if it's something that is available all over the UK or like even internationally, definitely worth putting it there. EIN Presswire, we use it here at Strategy Plus. It's quite budget friendly, it's pay as you go. I think it worked out, I want to say it was about £100 to send a press release, and then it gets cheaper if you buy like a few in bulk. But again, really good if you're not doing press releases all the time. Maybe you do 4 a year, then that's, you know, it's quite affordable. Fiverr is one that I didn't really consider before, but you've got loads of freelance professional PR type people on Fiverr who are selling access to their distribution networks. Obviously check reviews and things like that, but if you need to get hold of something quite niche or quite specific, it's a great way of spending very little money to get things out. And then also it's like finding content. I've kind of lumped these things together because they are relevant. So your distribution list is something that's already set up for you. You're probably going to have to create your own distribution lists if you are working on a small budget, which means Google spreadsheets of people, journalists, influencers who are kind of in your area. And so you're going to be wanting to use things like Twitter to find out like where these contact details are. Journalists are getting harder to find their email addresses these days because of spam bots. But if you follow hashtags like Journo Request and PR Request, which I'll come back to in a second as well, there's other uses for that, you'll find journalists. LinkedIn, another way of connecting with journalists. Their contact details are usually a little bit easier to find. But yeah, try that. Facebook PR groups is full of journalists looking for stories and pitching. I use them all the time. So again, when I've been working with clients of ours, I'm writing a press release, I'm traveling to Paris. Would anybody be interested in this? And then people will send you their details, and then you can put that on your list. Hold the Front Page. It's basically a directory of every regional newspaper in the UK, and that includes digital only. So really good if you're doing quite hyper, hyper location specific or location hyper specific. I'm not quite sure which way that goes. I do talk very fast, don't I? Sorry. So if you're looking to create some buzz about a new restaurant in Coventry, then it's very easy to go find all of the news sites and newspapers in Coventry to be able to do that. And I've called them Ask the Expert emails. What I mean by that is you can sign up to quite a few daily digest emails with, again, journalists and reporters asking for opinion pieces on things. And I'm going to sort of talk a bit more about this. So like another way of getting PR, and I should have put an extra slide in for this actually, but like, don't worry about it. So another nice way of getting PR isn't necessarily you sending things out, but it's you offering your expertise to writers and journalists and things. So if somebody is, I don't know, they're writing a piece about dog grooming, and they need to have an expert dog groomer to talk about poodles, and that's what you do, then these email lists and jumping on the Journo Request, PR Request things on Twitter is a really good way of kind of getting yourself out there. And all you need to do is just talk about something you already know. But it's very quick, it's very easy. So signing up to those emails and just kind of giving them a little bit of a look every single day is definitely worth it. I'm signed up to a few, and I've been on the radio a few times because of it, promoting people. So there you go, it works. I banged on a little bit about measurement and how do you know if your PR campaign has been successful, which is all very well, but then how, like, where do I find these tools? Like, what are measurement tools? So Google Alerts is something, again, I use quite a lot in with my freelance and with like clients that we have as Strat First. It's super easy to use. You can set it up to message you every time your brand name is mentioned or anything like specific you've sent out in a press release. And then Google, you can choose how often Google messages you to say that you've been mentioned. It's sometimes a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it will send you stuff that's not very relevant, but your name sort of happens to be in there. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, not that big a deal. Your social media analytics, like they're right there, guys. They're free. All of the platforms offer engagement measurement stuff. You can find out your reach, your impressions. You can find out who, like, how many people clicked on a thing. It's right there. Use it, use it, use it. Bitly is one that I use quite a lot as well. Not only is it very good for shortening URLs so they look a bit neater, and I really love that you can, as long as no one else has used the same one, you can customize it. So it'll be bit.ly / and then whatever you want to put at the end, which I quite like. But it also records how many clicks. So that's a great way of finding out who's clicking on the things. I missed Google Analytics there. Google Analytics is a little bit scary. I've been working with Google Analytics a lot this month, but there's plenty of resources out there to help you get set up, and that will give you some really, really good measurement of exactly where your audience has been coming from. If you've been putting all of your efforts into doing a campaign on Facebook, but all of your clicks are coming through from like somewhere else, then you need to work out like where that is, why that is, and how can you keep that ball running. So analytics, again, it's free. It's there. Use it. And tracking your interactions as well. It's not all about clicks. These are your comments, your shares, your likes, where you've been mentioned in blog posts. All of that is super important as well, because people actually interacting with the posts that you're putting out there, or interacting with the blogs, like leaving comments. Those are your potential audience members. So yeah, like keep an eye on that, and you know, get chatting to these guys as well. And like I said, watch the referral traffic sources. You need to know where is working really well for you, where isn't, so you can put your resources where it's going to actually count. So common mistakes to avoid. I think one of the big ones here is like the lack of clear goals. I think especially when you are working on a small team and you've got quite a lot to talk about, because like your business is really great, your brand's really great, it can sometimes get a little bit muddied. And if you don't have a clear target, you're not really going to know if your PR campaign was successful, because remember, we're not measuring sales, we're measuring like how people feel about you. So if you have too many goals, then you're not going to really know whether it worked or not. You'll just know that like stuff has happened. So you just need to make sure that you're very specific about what you want to achieve, and ensure that everyone involved in the campaign like knows what it is they're doing. They know what that key messaging is. They know what the objectives are. Remember, we did the objectives back there. Like, this is big 101. And ignoring those media relationships. Like, again, these people are right there. Failing to build and maintain journalist relationships can limit your reach. Treating people not very well can limit your reach. Like, you know, get to know people, introduce yourself, do a bit of schmoozing, be human about it. But so I know a lot of journalists that are really up for getting a coffee. They are working from home now. Excuse me. So yeah, just don't just blast press releases at people without thinking about it much harder than that. Otherwise, again, you're just wasting time and resources. Inconsistent messaging, which kind of ties in very nicely with the goals. Mixed messaging confuses the audience, and then a confused person doesn't want to deal with it. It's a big thing that I always say regarding hospitality, that if someone walks in and they don't really know what they're supposed to do next, they will leave because they don't trust you and they feel embarrassed. And it's kind of the same with your messaging. Like, if you're trying to tell somebody one thing on Facebook, but you're telling them a slightly different thing somewhere else, they're not going to really know what to believe. They're going to be confused, and then they're going to just not interact with you at all. So just make sure that that message, that thing that you want people to know, is really, really clear and consistent. And overcomplicating your campaign. Again, it comes in with your clear goals. Like, don't do too much. Ron Swanson said, don't half-ass a load of things when you could whole-ass one thing. Like, pick one thing, do it really well, and then move on to the next thing. And once you've kind of got your rhythm, then you can do a few things, but running alongside each other. But like, don't try and do everything with just one campaign. And failing to measure that success, again, without tracking, you don't know what worked. So what was the point? So yeah, make sure you're doing that. Use the resources you have. So it's all very well me telling you how to launch the campaign that you've started, but like, what about the future? What can I do to make sure my next PR campaign is going to be much, much better? Again, journalists and bloggers, I keep banging on about it, but this is your entry. These are your gatekeepers to your audience. These are the people who are writing and making content for the people that might want to get involved with your products, get involved with your brand, might align with what you're trying to do. So get to know them, get to be part of the community, find the forums, find the subreddits, find the Facebook groups, find the people, and get friendly. Create a media list. That's what I mentioned earlier. I have spreadsheets coming out the wazoo for loads of clients, which each explain, that each have very industry specific contacts. And I try and maintain those to a degree as well. Like if you're using them not very often, then you're going to get loads of email bounce backs. So what's really important is if someone doesn't work in the place anymore, find out where they've gone, find out who you need to speak to now. So you just like maintain those lists as well as create them. Otherwise, they're not very useful. Stay active on social media. People, if they're going to hear about you, they're going to want to go and find out more. And if you haven't posted anything the last 3 months, then why would anybody hang around? It looks like that you're not doing anything. It also means that like the more time you're on socials, the more you're interacting with people that are going to be interested in your brand and you're relevant to, the more the algorithm's going to put that stuff in front of you, and the more that you're going to see opportunities, the more you're going to get your brand visible, and the quicker you can jump on media opportunities, media coverage. You know, someone saying, I need an expert on X. You're like, oh, that's me. And I saw that 3 minutes after it got posted because I'm chronically online. And also monitoring those trends. Trends happen, trends are there for a reason. And I think we've all seen PR that has come a little bit too late, and it's just a bit sad. Sort of reminds me of the old rhinoceros in Jumanji when the whole herd like run past, and then it's like the old fat one going at the back. That's what you look like if you jump on a trend too late. So yeah, just if you're going to do it, make sure it's timely. Don't leave it too late, and if it is too late, don't bother. And craft the story. Like I said, journalists get like just bland press releases in their inbox all the time. Like, why would they want to know that your business has been open 35 years? If your business was opened 35 years ago by somebody who was really interesting, like the pioneer of the thing, or what's exciting about what you're doing, why would people care? It sounds harsh to say, but you've got to give people a reason to care. Just because it's important to you doesn't mean it's important to anybody else. So the more that you create a compelling story for journalists, the more likely they're going to try and push to have that printed. You have to remember as well, like a lot of journalists are going to stand-up meetings where they are having to pitch stories that have been pitched to them. I've had it a few times. I've wanted to shout about like a new beer for a brewery. I've submitted it to a journalist, like, oh, I'll have to take that to my stand-up meeting to check everybody else thinks that that's like an interesting enough story. So make it interesting. Don't lie, but make it interesting. Find out what the exciting nugget of information is there. So we're nearly at the end. Key takeaways. I'm just gonna have a little sip. There we go. A PR campaign is a powerful tool to boost your brand's image, build relationships, and communicate your message effectively. It absolutely is. People are doing PR campaigns at you all the time, and you don't even notice. But I bet when you think about a certain brand of vacuum cleaner, you probably, if you're in the UK at least, you probably think Dyson, or you think Shark. You might say Hoover, but you're not thinking Hoover. And that's PR. It's also a bit of marketing, but that's a whole smudgy thing. Define your clear objectives, research the audience, choose the right tactics to reach your goals. Don't just scattergun things. Don't don't just create something that's bland and generic and then throw it out and expect people to care. Like, make them care, make them interested, explain to them why this is important. Using your budget-friendly strategies, social media, building your media relationships is just as effective as paid media. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of stuff that's kind of thrown in my face from influencers and PR companies where it's very much pay to play. And I'm like, well, I don't actually believe this is a product that I don't believe this product, this thing is good. I think they just had a big budget. So utilizing that organic growth and that authenticity is really, really important. A bit of paid is not a bad thing, but authenticity, it's people bang on about it all the time, and it's true. Like, I need to trust and believe that you are doing and saying and being what you say that you are. Paying to do that doesn't give me that kind of belief. Rambling a bit there. Avoiding common mistakes with your unclear messaging, lack of measurement, etc. It's you're all going to do it once. I know I've done it, but you won't do it again. So yeah, make sure that everything is clear, concise, tracked, and then if you cannot present something at the end of a PR campaign where it's like, we did this, we were featured here, we've achieved this, this is how much, you need to be able to back it up, and you can't do that if your messaging's been unclear or you don't really know what you were doing. So just keep that in mind. Always think, if I have to present the results at the end of this, is what I'm doing clear enough? And then start preparing for those future campaigns, build those relationships with journalists and things, build those relationships with bloggers and influencers. Be a loud voice in the community of which you serve. If you're making toasters, start talking a lot about toasters, get really into your toaster content. Like, your industry is your community. These communities are everywhere, and these communities are really excited to be part of the process. Craft beer is such a great example of this, where people got really into craft beer because all these breweries were new, and so you could go and really help them, and you knew that every time you sat on an uncomfortable bench in a industrial estate drinking a beer, that money was going directly into like the producer's pocket, and people got really like a sense of ownership from that, and it's not something to be ignored. People like grassroots, people like supporting like locally. They just need it to be easy and financially viable. So get in there, get your brand in front of people. Yes. So that is there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys watching this. It's any questions, do let me know. But yeah, happy PRing, guys.